வணக்கம் நண்பர்களே, இது உங்கள் வேரவ பழனிசாமி. நம்ம வந்து யூபிஎஸ்சி சிவில் சர்வீஸ் எக்ஸாம் 2025-26 நேர்முக தேர்வு கேள்விகள் பார்த்துட்ருக்கோம். அந்த வகையில் நம்ம பார்க்கக்கூடிய 54வது எபிசோடு இந்த வருஷம் இந்த ஆண்டு நடக்கூடியதில். அண்டு இது வந்து பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ரிலேஷன்ஸ். இந்த பர்சன் இஸ் ஃப்ரம் கேரளா, ரைட்? ஸோ த போர்ட் இஸ் ஸ்ரீமதி சுஜாதா சதுர்வேதி அண்ட் ஆப்ஷனல் பொலிட்டிக்கல் சயின்ஸ் அண்டு இன்டர்நேஷ்னல் ரிலேஷன்ஸ். ஸோ லெட்ஸ் see. And it says name is a Mamu and date of interview is like 19/1/2026 afternoon. Key detailed application form details: Kerala PSCR Political Science International Relations, study on rabies and football, Arabic and mentoring. And Sujata Chaturvedi, time 25 minutes, third one to go, right? இது நம்ம ஏற்கனவே சொல்லியிருக்கோம். இது வந்து மதியம் போயிருக்காங்க, தேர்ட் ஒன். அப்போ நீங்கள் மதியம் 12:30 மணிக்கு நீங்கள் ரிப்போர்ட் பண்ணணுன்னு இருந்ததுன்னா உங்களோட இன்டர்வியூ 2 மணிக்கு ஆரம்பிக்கும், 2 பேர் முடிஞ்சு 3 மணிக்கு 3:45 நீங்கள் வந்து உள்ளே போயிருப்பீங்க. ஆனால் சில பேர் இப்போ 6 பேர் நடக்கக்கூடிய இன்டர்வியூவில் 1 மணிக்கு 12 மணிக்கு 1 மணிக்கு வந்தாங்கன்னா 4 hours வெயிட் பண்ணிகிட்டு இருப்பாங்க இல்லையா? அதே மாதிரி மார்னிங் வந்து ரிப்போர்ட்டிங் டைம் 9 o'clock இருந்துச்சுன்னா உங்களோட இன்டர்வியூ 12:30 மணிக்கு ஆரம்பிக்க லாஸ்ட் இன்டர்வியூ அப்படின்னா, லாஸ்ட் கேண்டிடேட் ஆஃப் தி டே அப்படின்னா நீங்கள் 3-3.5 மணி நேரம் வந்து ஃபிங்கர் கிராஸில் உட்காந்துக்கிட்டே இருக்கணும். ஸோ இதை பற்றி கேள்விகள் நிறைய டைம் கேட்டிருக்காங்க. உங்களுடைய மனநிலை எப்படி இருந்து, நீங்கள் எப்படி வெயிட் பண்ணிக்கிட்டு இருந்தீங்க, என்ன நினச்சிங்க அப்படிங்கிறதெல்லாம் இருக்குது. அதனால தான் இந்த போட்டியாளர்கள் எல்லாருமே எப்போ போனோம் அப்படிங்கிற டீட்டெயிலை நமக்கு கொடுக்குறாங்க, ரைட்டா? ஃபைன். Entered the room and greeted the board and the chairperson asked to sit and she read key details of day aloud. சத்தம் போட்டு படிச்சிருக்காங்க. And chairperson and first of this is this first interview and which was the most difficult question you faced in the previous interview. That means இந்த ஃபஸ்ட் இன்டர்வியூ இல்லைன்னு சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க. அதுக்கப்புறம் ஏன் அப்படின்னு அண்ட் லாஸ்ட் இயர் கொஸ்டினில் which question you felt it was a tough question. So what is the relation between the Aviyal and Kozhikode? Aviyal and Kozhikode, answer to the earlier question, right? And who is Samutri and clarified and Zamorins, right? Zamorins. Did you read newspapers of the today or yesterday? What are the important news headlines? I started with the Trump tariff on Europe and tried to explain it, and she intervened in between and asked me to list the headlines and she will decide which question to ask. So that's very, very, very unique, right? And what is GRAP? I mentioned Delhi Pollution and News, and who is in charge of GARP, and hesitantly told CAQM, and she was assuring me it's CAQM, and who picked CAQM last week for non-implementation and responsibility. Again, hesitantly said the Supreme Court. She said, yes, it's right. Why are you being hesitant? And why CKA, right? Current L is not able to tackle the pollution, and she asked me not to tell her technicalities on pollution but focus on the activities of the CAQM. What is the word used to describe such actions of CAQM? And she said it's not an English test, but it's, you may try it. I said reactive, but it's looking something else. I then said, emphasized that it was about not, she intended, she said, okay, leave it. Then, why is the visit of UAE president is significant? And again, picked up from my first answer for this news. Have you heard about Islamic NATO? So that's, we have been discussing Islamic NATO, right? So that is Pakistan and Saudi Arabia and Turkey, right? So who are its members? So I already told. Suppose the hypothetical situation is, it's a form. What are its implications on India? Which festival was celebrated just last week, right? I said it was Sankranti festival. She thought I was talking about the Gregorian New Year, but some of the members clarified to her, right? Then, whether this is celebrated in Kerala, whether it's celebrated in Kerala, and what is the significance of this? I said about agriculture, but she was looking for an astronomical significance. I said, I don't know. and she said it's the record to the position of the sun. Still, I was not able to answer. She said, no issues, leave it, right? Then member 1, why Mughals have some writing in Arabic and walls of their architectural structures? I said it was calligraphy, as Islam prohibits pictures of living beings, but he was not looking at that answer, but he then told me he was to give a clue and asked me, what does the number 786 means? I said it represents word Bismillah in Arab. 786 means in Arab it's called Bismillah. Still, I could not connect with his question, and he further explained to me that it denotes the date of the inscription. Date of the inscription. How does Kerala react to football at the World Cup? Right? And why football has huge popularity in Kerala and Bengal, and why it has less importance in the national level. Then number 2, what is Indo-Pacific? What is Indo-Pacific? What is its significance? I started the China and asked me if it was explicitly against China. I clarified that it was implicit and told other significant factors. A short monologue on China, violation of international court's order, and East China Sea. So how can we tackle that? So what are the other fewer tourists coming to India nowadays? Kerala nowadays. Then member 3, it's a lady member. So you have done study in rabbis under NSS. NSS usually carries out the development activities. You tell me about this study. What is Ayush? The short monologue on Kerala Ayurveda. Why Ayurveda important in Kerala? I could not remember the exact wording of the question, and it was implying something similar to this. How did yoga become popular across the world? Have you heard about work culture? So there is a positive and negative work culture. Why is this happening? Whom do you mentor? What are the wars happening right now in the world, and what is the effect of war on BRICS? So then number 4, what is the need of a constitution? While answering, I said it limits power of the government, and also he asked whether it only limits power of the government, right? What are the fundamentals of the constitution? Democratic polity, I mentioned fundamental rights, secularism, federalism, DPSP, etc. But he answered saying executive, legislative, and judiciary. And what are the fundamental duties in the constitution? What is the article and how many are there? And 3 different questions. What is the significance of Chagavar Port? And should India back Chagavar Port and threat American sanctions? After that, chairperson said, your interview is over, you may leave. I thanked the board and left the room. Fine. The chairperson was very attentive and kept on enthusiastic face when answering her questions. But whatever I was answering other members' questions, she was having mixed expressions on her face. The lady member was very attentive and responsive throughout the interview. She looked pleased, and every answer she was nodding and support throughout the interview. Her presence lightened the mood a lot, and overall it was a cordial experience, right? So with this, we end this 54th episode, and so thank you very much for listening, and we will come up with more transcripts of this year. So thank you very much.
வீடியோ உங்களுக்கு பிடிச்சிருந்தா லைக் பண்ணுங்க, ஷேர் பண்ணுங்க, சப்ஸ்கிரைப் பண்ணுங்க, கமெண்ட் பண்ணுங்க, பெல் ஐக்கன் பிரஸ் பண்ண மறந்து போயிடாதீங்க. அப்பதான் நாங்க போஸ்ட் பண்ற வீடியோவோட நோட்டிபிகேஷன் உங்களுக்கு வரும்.